Let's try.
So if you want to go for 8 hours, we can.
That's a lot. What was that?
Okay, we're live.
Awesome.
Oh.
All right, the second.
All right, step 1, fire him. Oh wait, was that last week?
That was last week. I was like, who are you firing? The guy who made the proposal.
Please me.
We're like, what?
Fire him.
So this week was like really weird. Like I've never heard of like your pay being based off of like performance.
Well, I have with like inside sales type
like
positions. Like you have a base of, say $15 an hour. And then if you sell X amount or you have so many leads, then or schedule X amount of meetings, you get rewarded based off your performance. So
yeah, like I've heard of like, I've done that, and like I was in a lot of retail like when I was a teenager, and so I've gotten commission-based pay, but like I've never heard of like commission-based pay for like line workers. Yeah, this is talking about like a chemical company that like produces. Did it specify what type of chemicals they did? It was like something they had like scientists that were like.
No, I don't think it said any specific one. It's probably like a nuclear warhead type.
I imagined it as like a pharmaceutical company. Either way.
Pretty much the same thing.
Right?
All right. So, let's see. So, prepare the roles. All right. So, yeah. There's different members of our team. So, like, we're supposed to be the different. There's Bill or Gus or Miles or Ruth or Sid. So, who wants to be who?
I'll be the Ruth lady who was,
because you're ruthless.
Yep. Well, she was in favor of it because her team had worked so hard, and her team deserved like her team deserved more pay or like a raise or a bonus or something because like they were working weekends to like get their production up.
Yeah. So basically the gist of it is like we are going to brainstorm ideas or I guess discuss which would be better. There's a guaranteed pay that is the same for all employees based on market rates and or seniority or incentive pay that is linked to performance. Or
oh my gosh. I locked the door for a reason, Lauren Olivia. I'm in school. Go out. Sorry.
saying a guaranteed pay for all employees or that is linked to performance. Which would you choose?
Jackson, say that again. I missed it because
you're good. So the analysis of this is, we choose our roles, and you know how each of the different managers had their own opinion on the different types of payouts, right?
Yeah.
So the premise of this discussion is which is better, a guaranteed pay that is same for all employees or an incentive pay that is linked to performance. So it's like the whole rating of the 6 myths about compensation.
Yeah.
And so like the idea for the plan that what was his name? Porterfield brought up was like 75% of the pay was determined from their previous, like their previous salary, and then there was an additional 25% that was determined on like 6 different areas, which was quality, unit cost to market, speed to market, safety compliance, and divisional financial performance. So it's basically like how well your team does. So some groups were for it, others were against it, because in reading it was talking about how all the science nerds were against it because they don't really care about teamwork as much. Like it's
they worked alone.
like, yeah, like they work alone because they're scientists, and
Right.
like that's just a role compared to like a team out on the floor. Like it's just different. So
Yeah.
what do you guys think? An incentive pay system or a guaranteed pay system?
I feel like for this company, because like I think it's a really, really good idea to pay those who are affected by the things. Like the speed to market, that doesn't, like, the scientists had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
but they did have something to do with the safety and environmental compliance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So I feel like a lot of this, like, only applies to some and then it doesn't apply to others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of makes it uneven and unfair. But I don't know. I like the idea of getting, like, the one lady said that they improved their speed to market or whatever. They went from like 3 months to 3 weeks in their production rate. Like the
Yeah.
lady who was in charge of mixing or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was upset because they were still receiving the same pay. Like they had worked weekends and they had devised like strategies and they had like really worked under this like new, I can't remember what it was called, like the quality for all or whatever.
Right.
System.
Yeah, like they had really implemented it and like it took off for them and they needed to be compensated for that. But I don't know. This whole overall like idea of this makes me nervous because I've worked with people who just read on the coattails of others.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh.
and so, like I just, for some of it I feel like it would be really good for that team, but some teams, like if you have one really good employee and then a lot of people who are there for a paycheck, like just there to get a paycheck, like it would be really unfair for that employee.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. What do y'all think?
I agree with that. Like, I just think, I don't know, like if different people are doing different work, I don't know how to explain this. But if different people are doing different work, I feel like the pay systems should, I don't know. I don't know how to explain this. Like, I don't know.
No.
I think I agree with what you said, Freddie, about how other people are just kind of writing.
Like the tier of work. Like they were
Mhm.
talking about how everyone is on like is salaried. Like everybody's a salaried employee.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't think the line workers should be salaried employees because when they're putting in overtime, they're not getting paid for it.
Right.
But
Well,
scientists, they should be salaried employees. They have degrees. They worked hard for them. You know,
Right.
but like it's more beneficial for a line worker to be paid hourly.
mhm. Well, and
So
like, oh, sorry.
so one thing, Charity, you mentioned, there's like the free writing problem,
Mm-hmm.
but in the reading, the 6 dangerous myths about pay, that was one of them. It says
Yeah.
One concern about paying on a more group-oriented basis is the so-called free rider problem. Worry that people will not work hard because they know if the rewards are based on collective performance and their colleagues make the effort, they will share in those rewards regardless of how much each person puts in. But uh, it says first, to the much to the surprise of people who have spent too much time reading economics, etc. Uh, the empirical evidence from numerous studies indicates that the extent of free riding is quite modest. For instance, one comprehensive review reported that under the conditions described by the theory as leading to the free riding, people often cooperate instead. And second, individuals do not make decisions about how much effort to expend in a social vacuum. They're influenced by peer pressure and the social relations they have with their workmates. So, like, free riding is going to exist no matter if there's pay involved or not.
Yeah.
So, like, and it says, like, if there is, the free rider problem, that the impact is going to be modest. So, um, like, I think like the best solution would be to have a base pay, and then instead of, because you were mentioning, Charity, how there was like some things pertain to the scientists that didn't pertain to the line workers and vice versa.
Yeah.
So have the base pay, just exactly what it is, but have the incentives, the 25%, or you could even make it less than that, 15 or 10% of your incentive pay is tied directly to what you can control or what you can affect. Because there
Yeah.
was the quality, like the scientist, he doesn't control the quality out on the floor. Or the, like the speed to market, like he
Yeah.
can't, yeah. So like that would pertain to the line workers, while it wouldn't work, or while it wouldn't pertain to the scientists. Does that make sense? Am
Yeah.
I making sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, you are.
yeah, so basically like the flexible pay, so the base pay remains, and the flexible pay is only directed towards events or conditions that they have control over. Because I've worked for a company where like they expected you to, or base your performance off other, like like other
Like
departments'
not what
processes.
you're doing.
Yeah. And it's like we're gonna rate how good you are based off how fast this gets done. It's like, well, like that's a whole different department that has their own chain of stuff. And it's like, the only thing that I can do is email them or call them or bug them, but it's like I can't physically do anything to make that get done faster.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about in the reading too. They were like, take them out for beers, and the other guy was like,
Yeah.
right, like he's gonna be so happy that I'm like, hey, how's your wife? You suck at running this place. Let me teach you how to do it better, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. And like I've worked in those situations, and it is a joke. Like every worker gets frustrated because it's just bogus. You're like, why are you, like, you're telling me I'm bad at my job by rating me on things that I don't have control over. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, I used to work at a clothing store called Buckle. Like,
yeah,
Oh, I love Buckle.
don't care if you love it.
Sorry.
You were paid completely off commission. At least when I worked there, you were paid completely off of commission, and
jeez,
your hours were based on how much you sold. So if you were the lowest selling employee that week, you got less hours next week.
what?
So,
What?
and they're like, they had a really big problem because like the people who were selling the clothes were out on the floor, and the people who were working the register couldn't leave, and so they were making less commission because they couldn't leave the register. They would commission steal. And so I think that's the problem that I had with this reading. It's like, I've been a stay-at-home mom for 8 years, you guys. Like, I haven't worked in but like what I've seen in the workplace has all been like really juvenile, because like
Yeah.
I was the like the store manager at Aeropostale, and so like I had like 16-year-olds working for me, not people with degrees. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was a lot of coattails and finger pointing, and so I think my work experience just like, I don't know, I think it just gave me like a different perspective on this reading, because like I read
Yeah.
it said that it was like coattail riding isn't really like a problem, and I was like, it is for teenagers, and then I was like, oh, maybe that's the problem because I'm thinking about it like teenagers just work for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that talked about in the case as well, was the issue that where it's just pure incentive based,
Yeah,
where that's when it degrades the quality of the interaction between the customer and the client, because they're more just like with you and being at Buckle, it's like it's no longer about, caring for the customer. It's about, if I don't get you to buy this right now, then like I'm SOL.
yeah, like if you don't buy this, I don't have water next month, so
Yeah, and like it
like,
then it creates problems of dishonesty and corruption, and just like you were saying. And I mean, just a year ago, this exact same thing happened with Wells Fargo, and
yeah,
how they
about how they were
were
looking up all the extra like accounts and
yeah,
stuff.
like all the branch managers, not all of them, but a good number of them, they just were put under so much pressure to where they couldn't meet the expectations. So that's when they started creating those false accounts, and to show the numbers that they were getting those. But like, I'm not bagging on Wells Fargo. I use Wells Fargo, but
All back
like,
You do, it's okay.
but it's like, like
It
that's
happens. I mean,
that's
people
both.
are,
Yeah.
like
And
you were
it's
saying, you're
scary,
kind of,
like
oh,
with
sorry,
the
go ahead.
with the Wells Fargo thing, the scary thing is that it wasn't one branch. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was one or two people, you were like, oh my gosh, that's messed up. But it was
But
like
it's like
it was like
executives.
thousands of people doing this. Like,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like one count and then they close it. Like one guy had like, it was like 7 accounts opened as his name, and they were all active.
Yeah.
Right.
And
What
I
were
was
you
like,
gonna say, Michelle?
sorry, Michelle.
Oh, oh, you're good. Yeah, what I was gonna say is, like you were saying, like the whole mentality where, like if you don't buy this, like I won't have hours or I'll be SOL, next week. Like that's just ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like that's where our workplaces are getting to here.
No.
So, yeah.
All right.
I forget like
So
where I was going with that, but
let's, basically wrap it up. What'd you learn? And I guess the solution. The solution is, I think would probably be best is to keep it the same, like with the base pay, but the flexible pay, instead of having it the 4 areas spread across the board, have one area designated to the scientists and one area designated to the floor workers, right? That
Yeah.
whatever
And then,
pertains to them.
like, wasn't there only like 4 different teams or 4 different parts or something like that?
Yeah,
What
or
was it?
like, or different, like, yeah, 4 experts on compensation discuss the options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like they should keep their base pay. I think that they should, like, everybody had a salary pay, and I feel like if the scientists are feeling underappreciated, the scientists should have the salary and the line workers should have like the hourly pay, because the line workers will end up getting compensated better with hourly pay because they're not being paid overtime. And those people were working weekends, so obviously they weren't even like they weren't getting reimbursed for that at all.
Right.
Like, and so I'm like, instead of doing this like weird pay, why don't they do like bonuses for like product movement, or bonuses for like, you know, like speed bonuses, like getting the stuff to market, or like safety bonuses for like if you meet all of, what was the other thing, the, let me see, sorry, I have the paper pulled up, but like speed to market bonus if it works good, or like, you know, quality control bonuses, you know, and like
Yeah.
the safety and environmental bonus, you know. But each bonus, like obviously the safety and environmental bonus probably wouldn't apply very much to the line workers, but it would to like the scientists.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because then you don't have to worry about having a percentage of your check. It's something extra. Because if they like, if my husband's company told me that we're cutting your check to 75%,
Yeah.
but you get bonuses if you're safe and if you're fast, like I'd be asking him to look for a different job. Like,
Yeah.
even though their pay probably would end up being the same,
It's the security
yeah,
that leaves. Yeah.
thing to be told,
That's
and a
true.
lot of people won't understand this.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
Well, any other comments?
well, I'm good.
Cool.
I'm good.
I think that was a very well discussed meeting. So just to overview, Michelle, you're doing the leader assignment, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so we'll meet again next Sunday, probably around the same time,
Okay.
maybe a little earlier if possible, but
Yeah, I can meet like anytime. Like our church gets out at 3 Texas time, I guess. So
I get out at 4 Idaho time.
yeah, so Idaho time, that's 2. So anytime after you guys get out of church, like,
Yeah, so around like 5 or 6 is the best.
Okay. I am 2 hours ahead of Idaho time. So it's a little bit harder for me, but yeah, just text me and let me know when you guys can meet and I'll try and figure something out.
All right. Yeah, if we met at like 5 or 6, that would be 7 or 8 your time.
Yeah, like tonight this works out good.
yeah.
All right.
Like,
Cool.
Yeah.
so, all right.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you guys go because I want to be with my husband. So
All right.
Sounds good.
Father's Day, Jackson.
Yeah, happy
Thanks.
Father's Day.
Thanks, guys.
This is your first Father's Day, right?
Yep, first one.
Aw, that's cool.
So cute.
All right. See you guys next week.
All right.
See
Yeah.
ya.
Bye.
Bye.